right, this is a special board meeting here on March 29th. It's at 8:57, I got it. It's called to order. A roll call, please.
Mr. Armstrong?
Here.
Mrs. Bedio?
Here.
Mr. Bonacci?
Here.
Matthews?
Here.
Mrs. Powers?
Here.
Stand for pledge allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Item number 3, have a superintendent's recommendation. Dr. Jones.
Thanks, Mr. Bonacci. I'd like to recommend that the Board of Education approve the ratification of the master agreement between the Stow Munroe Falls Board of Education and the Stow Classified Employees Association. I have a resolution to read. Whereas the Stow Munroe Falls City School District Board of Education and the Stow Classified Association, an OEA-NEA affiliate, engaged in negotiations for a successor collective bargaining agreement between the board and SMFCEA. And whereas the board and SMFCEA have reached a tentative agreement regarding a collective bargaining agreement dated July 1, 2013 to June 30, 2016, and a successor agreement dated July 1, 2016 through June 30th, 2017. Providing the treasurer can certify the funds. And whereas the SMFCEA ratified the master agreement on March 13, 2014, and whereas the board has determined that it is in the best interest of the district to ratify the master agreement. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Education of the Stow Munroe Falls City School District, County of Summit, Ohio, that 1, the board ratifies the master agreement. 2, the board authorizes the board president and superintendent to sign the master agreement and authorizes any other necessary actions consistent with the resolution. And 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of the board and of any of its committees concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this board or committees, and that all deliberations of this board and of any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with the law. This resolution shall be in full force and effect from and immediately after its adoption. I'd like to also thank Mrs. Bedio, Mr. Armstrong for their work and the negotiating team, as well as Mrs. Baldwin, of course. And Harvey? And Dick and Karen formally on it, absolutely. And also Mrs. Houston is here, President of the Association. I'd like to thank you for your leadership and bringing an attitude to the table that you are fighting for your people, as you should, but also conciliatory and looking to get an agreement done. So thank you for your leadership.
Thank you.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Armstrong, seconded by Ms. Bedio. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Bedio?
Aye.
Mr. Bonacci?
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews?
Aye.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Excellent.
Should I text you that we ratified?
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Very, I enjoyed working with
We have labor peace in all groups for 4 years, so that's a great thing. So
Several easy years.
again, I'd like to personally thank Rod and Jerry and Kathy and Russ and Deb and everybody who was involved in that. I know it's a long
you.
process.
And especially Ms. Bradshaw.
Ms. Bradshaw.
Yes, took notes, very good notes at every meeting.
I think this one lasted even longer than the certified one, so it's congratulations to all of you to get it done. So again, it's a good thing for this school district in the city. Okay, now we move on to the work session, and let me say a few things before we get into this. First of all, we'll be taking no questions from the audience before, during, or after. This is a board work session. I call this work session obviously after the presentation on the condition, on the envelope study, the condition of our buildings. And I think it warranted time for all of us to sit back, go back home, look at it, come up with your ideas, And I'm hoping you all have ideas that we can all talk about and try to get an idea of priority of what we need to get done both now, this year, and in the future. Obviously, it's a big dollar amount. How are we going to fund it? Ways, ideas. Hear everyone's opinion is valid and is worth as much as anyone else's. I want this to be open discussion, and I don't want no finger pointing. I don't care what happened in the past. We're talking about today, going forward. How do we address this? And we can talk about all we want, how we got into this position. You know, obviously, money was always an issue, but I'm not going to get in too deep in the past. Let's talk about today and going forward. And what ideas do we have to address this? And I want any finger pointing, but just get the information out, discuss it, and hopefully we get out of here with a plan for not only this year, this summer, and also going forward. Sounds fair? Good enough? Okay. So with that, let's open this up, and we can go. People, speak up freely. Anyone, whoever wants to start, their ideas and comments. I even have this up here if you wanted to put some ideas up. I'll write it down, but that's kind of my thought process. Get the ideas out.
Well, my idea starts with getting the business manager. And I've put together, part of this presentation, a little thing to look at getting the business manager, because we've lost focus over the years. And if I can use this, have a zip drive to open some PDF files, hopefully those are open. And I'll give the board, I put together not only a business manager, but a plan going forward with this to the board. And it's really a brief presentation, but it's not. And the plan is really laid out some where we can get the money, where we can, how we can finance it in the future.
While Mr. Armstrong's getting prepared, may I say a few things? First of all, the blanket envelope study was put into place with the group Ron and Steidel, they're the district's architects and engineers. They've been involved with the district for well over 20 years and have a very intimate, detailed idea of the status of our buildings. And for them to put this together it was easier than bringing someone in brand new. I want to remind the board that the exterior structure is all that this study was in phase 1. We have not gone into phase 2 yet, which would be an in-depth study of the internal systems in the buildings, as well as other needs in the buildings, for example, carpeting and things that the district is badly in need of as well. Items that keep our district operations and their facilities open, operating, and safe. So my suggestion would be, before we delve into a full idea of how we're going to approach this, one of the thoughts would be to complete this study and then look at the full cost. This is in its scope, it was a $6.4 million ticket item right now.
And that's part of what I want to do, is get a completing full cost.
Well, we don't have a
We
full
don't.
cost yet. And so my suggestion would be is to look at the full scope. The district has multiple needs that that incorporate what would be considered capital outlay in terms of the budget expenditures and how they're identified, and that their funding is available through a permanent improvement levy that could bring resources into the district that could be restricted just for that purpose, not to be used for salaries, and it would be in a minimal scope. For example, a $1 million permanent improvement levy would cost the $100,000 homeowner $35 a year. $35 a year. What would that generate for the board and for the district to work on their facilities and to keep our operation open, operating, and safe? Would cost the $100,000 homeowner $35 and bring in almost $1 million a year for the board. So I want to put that out there. I think it's something to keep in the back of our heads. We and Braun and Steidl could back us up on this. They've been involved with the district for well over 20 years. They stated in their presentation, what you're looking at in this study did not just happen overnight. It didn't happen in the last 5 or 6 years. It's been going on for well over 20 years as well. Why? The district's operating funds have not been substantial enough to cover the costs. These are substantial costs and they're expensive and they haven't been able to cover it.
All right, given that, I think we have a way to cover it, and I'm going to show a way to cover the costs over the next 15 years to 10 years here. Let's go back with, unfortunately, I have to do a little bit of history to say where we're at, okay? And how we got here. We had a business manager, okay? And the business manager structure, and then Russ and I met with the business manager from Hudson, and had some, and I mean, everything that he said was right here. I mean, it's right here. What he did, what his job duties were, and we had a structure where we focused on the business side of it. Okay, well, there's the learning side, the children's side, and there's the business side. We had someone who focused on that. And in that particular, forgive me, I'm a little nervous on that, early in the morning, the business manager responsible was to manage all support personnel, ensure the building maintenance, food service, transportation, and technology procedures comply with all the state law, monitor safety, that's key. Monitor safety for our children, safety for everyone, okay, out there. Develop a plan to replace an aging school and act as the district's purchasing agent. Okay, that's another key. The business manager acted as the district's personal purchasing agent. Let's go over to that organizational structure here. I can find my cursor. What we had here was the business manager, treasurer. And as we go down through here, notice you have treasurer, treasurer assistant, assistant treasurer, and then the clerks and the payroll and that. We had the board of education, superintendent, all three reporting to the board. Okay, as we cursor went down, you see with the division here, your custodian, should be talking to the board, the custodian, transportation, and food service, all were under the, and this is the same way it's basically set up at Hudson in almost every large school district our size in Ohio, in the state of Ohio, have a business manager. Now, a business manager isn't always reporting directly to the board. The business manager can report to the board or can report to the superintendent. But what that gives me is it gives me some separation here. I'm purchasing here, I'm approving it over here. I'm not, when you see the next structure, you'll see how the dysfunctional on this. So we have this whole, the grounds, the taking care of the people, the kids, okay, taking care of the kids coming into work. All that's handled. If I have a purchase order, if I need something, I have someone to go to and I can go directly to the board on that. Now, that gives a business manager time to concentrate on the business side of the operation. That allows the superintendent to concentrate on the learning side. Okay, this is our core business right here. Okay, here's our core business. This we have to have to put for our kids to come to work. I mean, come to work. I'm used to the business presentation. To come to school every day. Okay, if they don't have a way to get to school, they're not gonna be able to learn. If they don't have a building to learn in, they're not gonna be able to learn. If they don't have good maintenance supervisors take care of that building, if they don't have food service, well, that's one up in the air. Some of the smaller districts don't have food service, but in a larger district like ours, yeah, people always learn to expect food service, okay? So let's move on. Okay, having that focus, having that ability to go back. A little bit better, could I have put this in Excel, in PowerPoint, but I think this will get the point about. Having that, the business manager advised the board on all the permanent improvements. He went out there, he looked at the permanent improvements. Okay? The business manager did not go out and does not go out and hire an architect firm to do that and look at bids and do all that. Usually, unless there's something there, the businessman, unless they have to have a professional engineer sign something, the business manager, especially in Hudson, which I noticed, worked well with the city, well with the city engineer, and helped out tremendously in our discussion on that. Now, and that also allowed the business manager to get, in that period of time, like 05, 04, 05, they put a business manager, the board put a business manager in place, and allowed to come up with over $1.5 million in savings at that point in time. Okay. There were savings and maintenance. On there. I'm not going to go into all this, all the individual savings and that, but there was, you have it on your board. I mean, the board has all these savings and that, but all this was put together. The one that didn't pan out, but the business manager came up with the idea. Okay, the business manager came up with the idea of this, but unfortunately, Monroe Falls wasn't real crazy about the oil drilling at that point in time. But the Broad Honeywell, the business manager, came in and they said, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to fund all this? And this was a time when we didn't have a levy pass. Okay? Our bus services were falling apart, and that what we did was have HB 264 and did a loan. We bought buses. We upgraded that. And when you look at the study, one of the reasons that Fish Creek doesn't need a lot of work was because a lot of the money that we put all new windows in that with that particular, at that time, we put that as funds into Fish Creek, okay? That's why Fish Creek doesn't need the work that it needs in the study. And there was a plan, there was a plan that we saw at the last meeting to go forward and to continue purchasing the buses and to continue the investments. There was a plan in place at that time. All right? Let's see if there's any more here. So anyway.
Rod, may I interfere for 1 minute? I think you also need to say that we have an interest of $1.3 million from that plan, that in interest from that plan?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we still have to pay for this.
Anytime, that goes without saying, but anytime we float a bond.
Right.
But when it does, it's matching, okay? If you don't have the funds here, you want, okay, how long does a building last? How long does the windows last?
But Rod, we're still in
Wait,
that,
let me
too,
go through it.
what we have to
They
pay
last
this.
15 years. A bus lasts 10 years, okay? The bus lasts 10 years. So why not spread that cost out over 10 years? Yeah, there's a time value of money, and yeah, I could come up and pay cash for everything.
But we
What
still owe
financial
on this,
advisor here-
Rod. These people need to know we still owe this.
Oh, in the buses, right.
2017,
The buses are coming
2022.
due, right, the buses are coming due, but it's only $200,000-300,000 a year. It's not 2 million, 3 million, 6 million right now.
I just wanted to make that clear.
Okay, yeah, make sure, yeah, in fact, I'm going to show that, I have that as an exhibit. I have that as an exhibit. exactly that, how we spread that out. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about matching, a fundamental accounting concept. That's why you have depreciation, okay? That's how come a business will buy something and stick it up there and depreciate it over the useful life of it. And that's what we're doing. And there's a cost, yeah, there's a cost associated with that. But at lease purchase, it helps your cash flow. It helps us on the core business. We can continue to maintain the core business at only using $200,000 or $300,000 a month rather than. Now, do you need money up there? Do you need a sinking? Yes, and that's how come we have money and we could take it and we could use all of it. We could take the whole $20 million and we could just spend it, okay? But that's not what I'm saying. Okay. So let's go to present here, present condition. Where are we today? Okay. The elimination of the business managers created a dysfunctional organizational structure. Okay, that's what I was talking about. A dysfunctional organizational structure, which has again caused the district to lose focus on the support areas. Okay, we're losing focus on the support areas, and part of that. And now I'm going to jump to the present organizational structure. And see where. Yeah, this was a good. All right. What happened here? What happened here? All this here looks like here. We've added a position over here, which was something. But we didn't lose the business, the administrator's position for business, this business position. We added, that moved over here, the secretary for the business manager moved over here. So now we have this position of all these people reporting up to here. Come on. Russ, it's tough. Come on, tell me, buddy, it's tough.
It's the law.
Yeah.
I would say,
It's the law.
I would say that I would move along that Director of Special Services and Director of Curriculum Instruction line. I would slide the Technology Coordinator on that line, Custodial Maintenance Supervisor Jason on that line, Larry Conley, the Transportation, Diane Simcoe, and EMIS. I put all those on the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Across the
all,
line there.
yeah, and it is on that line, as you come across.
They're
it,
reporting to
You
me.
see that, yeah, all these people here are reporting to you.
Right.
Okay, that's what the line is. You're right, that's exactly right. They're all reporting to you. Who does the purchasing? Over here doing the purchasing. Okay? I need something in here. Now I gotta go across functional lines over here to buy, to get something.
I would like
Okay.
to correct you on that. The superintendent and I are sharing the business manager role.
That's exactly
And the
right.
superintendent is the purchasing agent. of the
But,
district.
but the people report to the superintendent.
Yes, and that's the law.
The people
He is-
report, that's the law, that's correct.
He's responsible for everyone reporting to him.
Right, that is the law.
Except the
And
treasurer.
that's why I'm saying you need that business manager here in here. Because I purchase over here, the people report here, it's dysfunctional. Okay, now, let's move back to the, and notice this, I mean, we really didn't, added a position here to help out because of the purchasing and some of the shared business manager. This position wasn't here, it didn't exist in the prior.
Can you explain the dysfunctional component?
Dysfunctional is that it cannot flow, the business can't flow. Okay, I'm going across functional lines, okay? In order to get something done here, we're here. These people here, they don't even know who they really report to.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes
Please.
the,
But
I'm
yes.
fairly
Oh, yeah,
certain they
they
do.
do.
Oh,
They
okay,
do.
good, I'm glad they do,
Okay.
because
What-
when I go to buy
what's
something, the organizational line isn't
What
there.
specifically has gone wrong here?
That's
that
what
is
I
such
just
a
read.
marked
I think, Rod, what it's very simplistic what you're trying to say here is, and my viewpoint is, when we made these cuts during the times of lack of money, and we're trying to, you know, there's a big push from the public to cut the staff here in the central office. Those decisions were made, and whatever reason, I don't know. But in all fairness, I think we have put a tremendous burden on the superintendent to be responsible for the entire school district here outside of the financial side of the business. I do think having custodial, the bus garage, all that stuff reporting under the superintendent is a tremendous amount of responsibility and a lot of your time. I think that's where you're getting.
That's what I'm getting at, and I'm not only getting at that, I'm getting at, we got rid of a business manager, but we outsourced a big part of his job. Okay?
I would beg to differ with you
Okay,
about that.
what we did here, okay, we paid an average of $10,000 a month in attorney fees to look at contracts. Okay? Roughly, when we went back and went through these contracts, a lot of these were basic contracts that we talked about with the business manager from the Hudson that he does, that he looks at. Okay, doesn't have an attorney looking at every contract, at a copier contract or whatever, standardized contracts like that. Attorney does, we're sending those all out for an attorney to look at, okay? Could it be because there's too much work for the treasurer? I don't know. The other one is we spend an average of $5,000 a month an average of $5,000 a month in architectural fees. That's an average, okay, over the different things.
Ron, can I
A
stop
lot
you
of
one
that-
more time?
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I think Fred started the meeting saying we weren't gonna do history.
Exactly.
And we're going history, but you know, the bottom line is, and Fred was right, we had no money. Instead of dissing this whole situation, I think we owe both Kathy and Russ a thank you. And I'm not sure how much they have saved us over these last, now I've been off board, 2 years? Okay, I don't know how many millions, whatever's been saved by not having those two positions. And I do thank them for the extra workload. And I think they've done a very good job.
I do
Okay?
too.
And I
But
mean,
given
you're
the
bringing up
facts here,
examples, they need to
what
be
we're saying-
contradicted.
What we're seeing, when we go back and look at it, we're seeing that getting rid of the business manager has actually cost us more money than what the business manager. So yes, it's easy, that's a real savings. I come up and say, I got this job, I got rid of it, right? But I didn't really get rid of the work. I didn't get rid of the work, I'm sending it out to attorneys, I'm sending it out to architects. That's $132,000 to $144,000 a year. The
Right,
business
I
manager
was
didn't
on board
cost me
when
that
Tom
much.
was treasurer or business manager, and we also used the same architects and we also used the lawyers. I think you need to go back. We used the lawyers
Yes.
Oh, you
for the
did.
same
We did.
situations.
We did, and that's why it only took 70%, because we did use them, we did use
We
them.
did.
We did use them for contracts for teachers, we did use them for all that. When
Mm-hmm.
we went back, we did use them for copy machines,
Yes, you
But-
did.
and we did use them for all that.
Yeah, Fred, please.
Okay, anyway, let's go
Right.
forward.
Let me interrupt you for a second.
Enough.
I think, let us look at all this stuff, right?
Well, let's
I
go
do want to
through
get back to
You
the,
wanna go through the solution now?
quickly, because I want to get back to the envelope study. And
This is getting back to the envelopes.
I understand that you're where you're at, and I respect that. There's also, we have time to talk about these buildings and the conditions and all that and plans. I know where your position is on the business manager, and I think we're gonna discuss that at a different point and make a decision on that, along with some other
Well,
things we're looking at.
We need to get this out, because what happens is, envelope study is tied into having a business manager. Envelope study, I'm talking $6 million out there. And if I don't have someone that's gonna put focus on it, then I'm not gonna vote for anything.
I get that, Rod, but it's not gonna
Okay,
solve our problem.
So here's the proposal. Okay, yeah, here's where it's gonna solve our problem. Okay, proposal. Bring back the business manager. Okay? Throw the study out the window. We look at a couple things that we need. Okay, we get the business manager in there. The business manager will go through and start to prioritize what we need at this point in time. Okay, now,
Just to
did you
give
want
a-
me to show the invoices? We have to show the
I don't
invoices.
wanna go into a lot of detail right
I
now.
don't see
Rob.
anything why we're here.
What I'm gonna do now
I would like
is
to
show the permanent improvement.
Yeah, I want to.
I would like to put a little bit of perspective
Hang in there.
on the business manager cut, the board that was in place at the time that happened. We went through 6 years of asking for operational money that this district had not had, as it turned out, for 10 years by the time it passed. That position was cut in '09. Through this year, it has saved the district $600,000. Back in '05.